Hey everybody, Gulf Coast TTC here. Got a quick first impressions. I'd say unboxing, but it's already unboxed. If you saw the title, then you know what we're doing here. So this is the Monterey Bay Knives SeaOtter. If you go deep enough in the rabbit hole, pocket knives, you know that these are made by Ray Laconica. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Laconico, pretty close. So these are handmade to the best of my knowledge. And they have other models, but this one here obviously has got quite a lot of fame. I've tried to get one for, I don't want to lie, but probably been 2 years. You know, in lotteries, they're made in small batches, and they're very difficult to obtain. I finally broke down. Well, I didn't break down. My wife actually got this for me for Christmas from eBay, but got a really good deal on it. You know, they start at like $480, $500 on eBay and go up to about $700. So not a cheap pocket knife. I don't even know how much they are for if you get a spot on the lottery, because I've never gotten a spot to buy one. But I thought we'd take a look at it and see if it lives up to all the hype. Is it worth it? Pretty subjective, but also go over some points I've seen in other videos. So first, I'll just say that in playing with it, in handling it, all of that, it has the awesome snicked sound, the Wolverine claw sound you want to hear when you're popping it out. So definitely feels good deploying. Also, it feels good in the hand. It's weighty. This is, you know, non-weight relief titanium. So it feels, it's not heavy or anything like that, but it has some quality heft to it, right? Like when you pick up something that has some quality to it, and you can feel it. It's a good size in the hand. You know, I don't have extra large meat mitts. So let's look at it with some other knives, and you can kind of see. Here's a mini bug out, so it's kind of similar there. Here's a mini Osborne. It's, you know, pretty good. You can see the blades quite a bit thicker though than both of these. Thicker, wider, taller, maybe. I don't know. Has more blade face than these other two. And then if we want to compare it to kind of some full-size knives, we've got here's a Delica 4, which, you know, size-wise, it's pretty spot on with the Delica 4. And then move on down to a full-size bug out. You can see it's just slightly smaller than a full-size bug out. So it's a pretty good size. You know, it's a little bit bigger than a mini bug out. I find the mini bug out's just a little bit small. It's a little bit dainty. I like it. It's a good knife, you know, but it's a little small and skinny. This is a much fuller feeling knife, if that makes sense. So we can kind of take a look at this. So this guy's running on phosphor bronze washers, very smooth. It flicks out really nice. It's not drop shutty. I mean, it kind of is, I guess, if I, you know, flick it down kind of hard. But as I use it, I know that that'll wear down and it'll be nice drop shutty, but it has such a good feel when it's closing. Yeah, I feel like this is probably going to be my main pocket knife for a while. You can see it's got nice tumbled finish on it there. Blade Steel's M390. I don't know if you can get in there and see that. I'm sorry, it's not M390, it's Magna Cut. Sorry about that, I don't know what I was thinking. But bang the cut on this guy. Thumb studs are really nice. They are grabby, but not in a feels like it's going to cut you kind of way. Also, I'll say that I've seen and had feedback that I guess the way that a lot of folks flick these out is they put the front of their thumb pad on that and push, which I guess you can. I've literally never done that. You know, I've always used my thumbnail to get in there and flick it open. So I just can't do a thumb pad. If you do a thumb pad, then this might be a little rough for you. Because it is kind of pointed and the machining on it's definitely grabby. But I don't. I use my thumbnail and it works fantastic. I guess there's a tiny little lip there. I guess if you wanted to try to front flip it, maybe. Yeah, again, maybe. I don't know. Maybe if you're good at that. Not quite a good lip though, so I don't feel like that's its intended purpose. Pocket clip, I was a little unsure. This kind of is definitely reminiscent of a Chris Reeves knife. You know, simple, but gets the job done. It's got a lot of tension on it, so feels good, real snappy, works great, doesn't catch on things in the pocket. But the one knife that I really want to compare it to is this guy here. I think this is its closest competitor, you know, as far as in the segment. Price-wise, and not this exact model, but, you know, a mini Sebenza, which is what this is. So size-wise, and I'm going to be careful because you know, as I've in my review for this stated, steel feel, I hate this thumb stud. I think it's just, you know, I get why it's done. I'm just not a fan of it. And that's why this knife, if it looks brand new to you, that's because I don't use it or carry it. If I'd gotten a plain one, which looking back is probably what I should have done, I'd have popped this thing out. I've seen a couple of videos where you could just press these out and put in some thumb studs. And if this weren't such nice burl on this, and I probably would have done that. But anyway, I feel like this is the main comparison here, because this knife was right around $5 and some change. This knife was I want to say $5 and some change, might have been closer to $6, but very similar. Like if you're considering either one of these, you know, unless you're unlimited budget, you just get whatever you want, as many as you want, you get them both. But between these two, I think this is kind of the comparison here, right? It's almost exactly the same size. You see a little bit difference in the angular end of the scales for the Chris Reeve, where it's more rounded over here, more symmetrical. And then you can see it's a little bit wider this way on the scales, which is nice because when it's in your hand, it feels, like I said, a little more full size. Sorry, trying to kind of keep this guy angled, right? Because that clip, but that's what it reminded me of when you look at the clip on it. You know, this is just kind of like a thin titanium clip. Does the job, nothing special. You're not going to write home about it, but kind of reminded me of it. I like that it's a little thinner. How this kind of starts wide and then tapers. I like it. It's just kind of straight, and it's also fairly thin too. So not noticeable, no hot spots. But you can kind of see that these two are pretty similar. A little bit thinner on the blade shape for the Sebenza as you get to the tip, whereas this one kind of maintains its little squatter at the top. In both of these, you know, like the Sebenza again, it's stiff because I haven't carried it or, you know, played with it a whole lot. So I mean, you know, if I were to, you know, when it closes, it's got the nice sound. You know, I guess I can kind of flick it open sometimes. I'm gonna be honest with you that I did not expect that to open like that. It's usually luck of the draw on this guy. That's why I've come close to cutting myself with it before, trying to get that flick to go right. So I just haven't carried it a whole bunch. I'm going to say between these two all day long, if I could go back in time and I could do it over again, I would not buy this. I would buy this. This knife is just so nice on so many levels. You know, the Sebenza is iconic. It's cool. But you know, just the machining lines on this, the finish on it. I'll just say this. So, you know, you got some knives that maybe you get and they're so nice that you don't carry them very much. I've got a few that I've gotten, especially like urban EDC drops and things like that, you know, that I don't like carrying because I don't want to get them messed up. I don't scratch them. I don't want the blade to get jacked. This thing has already got this nice tumble finish on it. So, you know, it's going to wear its patina well and well camouflaged too, so you don't really have to worry about that. The blade also is, you know, got that tumble finish on it, so it definitely matches. You know, the Sebenza, it's got this, you know, nice, I think they say it's tumbled satin or something like that, but it's a really nice finish on that blade. But if you scratch this thing on something, you know, you're cutting something that has an edge, it's going to show. You're going to get some wear and tear on this thing. You know, it's got a polished spine up here on the blade. You know, it is a really nice pocket knife. But as far as something to really get the job done and get dirty and not really worry too much about what you're doing, I enjoy this a lot more. I don't have to worry about, is it going to look jacked up? And, you know, it's just my personal preference. I know there are people that don't care, you know, they'll take a, you know, $3,000 knife and, you know, break the tip off in the dirt or, you know, whatever. That would hurt my soul to do something like that. So I don't do it. I do use my knives, but, you know, I do like them to stay in good shape and looking good. I also try to use the right tool for the job, if at all possible. But I just can't say enough how good this knife is. Now, one of the things that I saw in a review that was concerning was that the blade, someone had pointed out that the blade sticks up past the scales back here in the closed position. I don't know if you can kind of see just the edge right there. So it does not stick up past the scale. Okay. Now, I'm going to be honest, if you take your finger and you push as hard as you can and you run it down, you're going to cut your finger. I can feel it in rubbing my finger there. I can feel it catching my finger, but I'm rubbing it and it's not cutting my finger. Now it's touching it, I can feel it, but it's just kind of the edge of that thing. It's not quite on the blade face. Now, I'm not going to push my finger down as hard as I can and run it, because then I'll have two fingers, or at least a very red finger. So just know that. And I feel like in some of the videos I saw that is a little more pronounced, or I don't know, they made a bigger deal out of it than it is. I've literally never taken one of my knives and tried to run my finger across the back of it. I never have. I don't know why you would. So in normal day-to-day use, like that's never going to be an issue. You're never going to touch anything to that. It's way up here. I mean, why would you be here while the blade is in there? I don't know, but so you know, I mean, it is possible, I guess, but I don't care about that. You know, if you get your finger on it, rub some dirt on it. It'll be okay. It's got the jimping on the top here. And I'll say it's really good jimping. You know, it's not the kind that like catches your finger and you feel like you might cut it or something like that. You know, but you can feel it. It's pronounced. It's not, you know, just for show. So I'd say it's just the right mix of, you know, grab and comfortable so that you can use it and not worry about it. It's got a very minimalist kind of design, and that's what I like. You know, just a couple of screws here, some standoffs, everything matches. And it is just super smooth and fun to flick out, to deploy, and to use. You know, also be a magnet cut, gonna hold its edge, gonna be really sharp and good on all the Amazon boxes that it has coming in its future. We can see that pivot's pretty big. You know, I guess if I was gonna say, you know, probably that pivot could be a little bit smaller. And you know, thumb studs do stick up a little bit, I guess, if you're gonna nitpick there, but man, just such a great design. So I'm gonna say that, you know, all the time of wanting it and trying to get one, worth it. As soon as I opened it out of the pouch and flicked it open the first time, I knew it. This perfect weight, feel. When you flick it open, it's satisfying. When you close it, it also has a satisfying sound. Probably going to be a lot more fidget toy use than cutting use, I imagine, in its life. But listen, I could go on and on. Just know that if you have an opportunity to get one of these, you know, whether on eBay or the lottery, you should take advantage of it. And if you do get a chance to buy one and then change your mind, let me know. I'd be glad to have two. So that's pretty much what I got for you today. Hope you guys all have a great new year. It's prosperous and filled with awesome knives. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for hanging out with me, and like and subscribe if you want to see more of this.